Once upon a time, in the bustling city of Lagos, love bloomed in the most unexpected place. Sara, a spirited young woman, thought she had found her perfect match in Tunde, a charming man whose smile could light up the darkest room. Sara had met Tunde 6 months before Valentine's Day on a busy market day. They started casually, just two people exploring the bustling city of Lagos. Tunde was charming with an easy smile that made Sara feel at ease. Over time, their casual dates turned into something deeper. They shared many memories and Sara felt he might be the one for her. On the morning of Valentine's Day, Tunde had a surprise. "How about we visit my family in Ogun State today?" he suggested, flashing that irresistible smile. Sara hesitated. "Today? But it's Valentine's Day." Tunde laughed. "Exactly. It's a perfect day to meet my family. They are eager to meet you." After a moment's thought, Sara agreed. It seemed like a significant step forward in their relationship. They woke up early, got ready, and hit the road in Tunde's car. The journey was supposed to be 4 hours, but Lagos traffic stretched it to 7. As they drove, they chatted and laughed, enjoying each other's company. The busy streets of Lagos gradually gave way to quieter, more rural areas. The scenery changed to tall trees and fewer houses. Halfway through the journey, Sara asked, "How many people are in your family?" Tunde hesitated before replying, "Just my parents, grandma, and my sister." Sara felt a twitch of she realized she knew little about Tunde's family. As they approached the village, the isolation of the area struck her. "Why does your family live so far from everyone?" she asked. Tunde shrugged. "As for my family, they like the peace and quiet." Finally, they arrived. A small girl, Tulu, came running to welcome them with a big smile. "Welcome, welcome," Sara smiled back. The house was old but well kept, standing alone in the middle of tall trees. They entered and went straight to the dining room. An old woman, Tunde's grandma, sat on a chair, her eyes fixed on Sara. Tunde's grandma was not just staring at Sara, she was checking her out from head to toe. "Meet my grandma," Tunde said. "Hello, ma," Sara greeted politely. Grandma just nodded, her eyes never leaving Sara. Tunde's father, a stern-looking man, joined them. "Welcome, my dear," he said in a deep voice. "Thank you, sir," Sara replied, trying to hide her discomfort. The house was filled with stuffed animal heads of rabbits, eagles, deer, and lots more were mounted on the walls. "My dad loves hunting," Tunde explained casually. Sara shrugged but said nothing. After freshening up, they gathered for dinner. The table was laden with various meats. Though Sara's unease grew, she forced herself to eat. The family seemed friendly, yet there was something off, something she couldn't quite put her fingers on. After dinner, Tunde's father announced, "Tunde, it's time to go hunting." Sara looked at Tunde surprised. "You are going hunting now?" Tunde nodded. "It's a family tradition," he said with a grin. Sara felt a growing sense of unease. Something about this place and this family don't feel right, but she kept her thoughts to herself, not wanting to offend Tunde or his family. Sara was told she had to share a room with Tunde's younger sister, Tulu. Apparently, she could not share a room with Tunde because there were stuffed animals everywhere in his room. Later that night, Sara woke up to a scream. Her heart raced as she sat up in bed, trying to make sense of the noise. She turned to see Tulu, Tunde's younger sister, standing by the window, staring at her. "What was that?" Sara asked, her voice shaking. Tulu turned slowly, her face expressionless. "It's just a pig," she replied. "Animals scream when daddy kills them." "Yes, the animal screams when daddy kills them. It's absolutely fun." Sara felt a chill run down her spine. A 12-year-old talking like this? Something's not right, she thought. The way Tulu spoke so casually about killing and unnerved her. Sara lay back, but sleep was impossible. Her mind was racing, filled with fear and suspicion. Determined to find out more, Sara waited for Tulu to fall asleep. As soon as she heard Tulu was breathing slow and steady, she crept out of bed. She moved silently, careful not to wake anyone. The house was eerily quiet. Sara remembered seeing a mini house earlier, She made her way there, driven by a mix of curiosity and dread. As she approached, she saw a light flickering inside. The door was closed. Through a small hole, she could see Tunde and his father. Her heart pounded as she peeked inside. Tunde and his father were laughing as they kept talking, their faces illuminated by the dim light. Your mother wanted to make the stick again, Tunde's father said. Tunde kept on laughing, saying, yes, Papa, the meat was so delicious. Who could tell that what we dined on was human meat? Mama knows how to prepare this very well. Oh? On the table in front of them was a sight that made Sarah's blood run cold. Oh my gosh, she whispered. That's a human body. She couldn't believe her eyes. Her mind raced, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. This can't be real, she thought, but the evidence was right there in front of her. Tunde and his father were butchering a human body as casually as if it were an animal. Fear surged through Sara. She needed to escape. She turned and ran back to the main house, her heart pounding in her chest. She had to get out of there, but she needed a plan. She decided to find Tunde's car keys and make a run for it. Entering Tunde's room, she found the keys on a table. She grabbed them and headed for the door. Just as she was about to turn the corner, she saw Tunde's grandma standing in her way, her eyes cold and unblinking. You can't leave, dear, Grandma said with a sinister smile. You are one of us now. Panic surged through Sara. She backed away, but Grandma advanced slowly, blocking her path. My grandson wants to marry you, she said. You can stay with us forever. Sara's mind raced. She had to get past Grandma and escape. She couldn't stay here, not with this terrifying family. Summoning all her courage, she acted on instinct. Punched Grandma, who fell to the ground with a grunt. Sara didn't wait to see if she was okay. She sprinted to the car, her heart in her throat. Sara jumped into Tunde's car, her hands shaking as she fumbled with the keys. She had learned how to drive some years back, but she didn't have a car to keep practicing. But she had no choice now. She had to drive with the little knowledge she had acquired. Imagine if she didn't know how to drive at all. The house lights flicked on and she could hear shouts from inside. Her fear propelled her forward. She started the car and slammed on the gas, the vehicle lurching forward. As she sped down the narrow tree-lined road, her heart pounded. The images of what she had just seen flashed through her mind. The body, Grandma's sinister smile. She couldn't believe she had almost become part of that horror. Dawn was breaking as she reached the outskirts of the village. The first light of day brought a sense of relief, but Sara knew she wasn't safe yet. She drove as fast as she could, her eyes dating to the rear view mirror, as if expecting to see Tunde or his father chasing her. Finally, she reached a small town. She pulled over at the police station, her body trembling. She stumbled inside, breathless and terrified. Help me, she gasped. We are cannibals. I escaped, but they are still out there. The officers looked at her, confused and alarmed. She told them everything from the journey to the horrifying discovery. They listened, their expressions growing serious. They promised to investigate immediately. Sara waited anxiously as the police organized a team. They drove back to Tunde's house, but when they arrived, they found nothing but ashes. The house had been burned to the ground and there was no sign of Tunde or his family. They must have known I would report them, Sara said, her voice shaking. They vanished. The police searched the area but found no clues. Tunde and his family had disappeared without a trace. Sara was shaking, but she was safe. She returned home, her mind still reeling from the events of the night. Days turned into weeks and Sara tried to move on with her life, but the memories haunted her. She couldn't shake the feeling that they were still out there. She just hoped she would never meet them again. Every Valentine's Day after that, Sara remembered the horror she had escaped. She vowed never to celebrate that day or visit anyone's house again. She also vowed to make sure to know a man well enough before she visited his parents. The experience had challenged her forever, a stark reminder of the darkness that can hide behind the most charming smiles. If you enjoyed watching this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel.